Welcome to another episode of Let's Eat Orlando with Amy Drew and Biggie. We're here. It's another week.
Animated. We got very animated before.
We did get very animated, and the reason we got very animated is because the whole before we even started, usually we'll catch up and chat a little bit. And one of the things that we talked about, we were talking about, I had to ask Amy Drew, was about WrestleMania.
Yes.
Because
it's gonna bug me.
That's all right. You can fix that as long as you can hear me as I'm talking. And I wanted to talk. I asked her if she watched WrestleMania. And I did it for a few reasons because there is some Orlando tied to this. So just like bear with me as I guess humor us as we talk wrestling.
Because the wrestlers are always here because the Performance Center is here.
Yes.
We have a lot of wrestling here.
But there's also a few other reasons why I kind of think I'm tying it to Orlando. Is I just read one of your colleagues wrote about Scott, I think it was Scott Maxwell, wrote about how Orlando is bidding for WrestleMania.
Oh, he probably
to come.
I didn't read that. He thinks
to come to Orlando. To come to Orlando, they actually put a bid on for the NFL for the Jacksonville Jaguars to play at Camping World Stadium, and then also for WrestleMania to come to do WrestleMania here in Orlando,
which would make a few years ago.
Which they did a few years ago. So they did put a bid. They supposedly are putting a bid for it. And another foodie related thing is one of someone that I followed that I did not realize I followed, but I just started watching more wrestling.
And you sent this to me and I knew who it was.
Yes. I basically was like, I couldn't remember his name because I knew him as the head tribal chef, because he got like a wrestling belt, and I was like, he just spent 20 years at Holler, and then I was like,
yeah, Patrick Story, which I think Tribal Chef is hilarious.
Yes,
I don't personally know him. We follow each other, I think, on
Correct.
social media, and of course, I've eaten the food there.
Yes,
many times over the years. But yeah, I've seen all of his wrestling stuff, and I think it's fun.
I think it's fantastic, and I was like, I actually messaged him.
Wreck everyone and leave tank top. I have.
You should. We should have a wrestling food version of the show episode with him on it. Because
Chief before he was over. Now everybody loves the tribal chief.
Correct.
You see him almost saying chef.
Yes.
I loved him from day one. When he was like straight heel. Now he's kind of like, an anti-hero. People love him now. They're like all the hands. Everybody's pointing.
Yeah, everyone does the whole thing. I will say that I've gotten into it. I did watch WrestleMania. That was one of the things that Amy Drew and I were chatting about.
That's right.
Because it's like a 2-day event and they do a bunch of stuff, but it was fun to watch and to talk to her about it, and it's fun. I think it's one of those things where it's definitely entertaining, and I appreciate it. And it all kind of stemmed because I watched a Netflix series Heel that was on Stars.
I started watching that.
Yep.
My boyfriend finished it and then I didn't watch it, but I saw the first 2 or 3 episodes and I liked it. I enjoyed it.
No, it was good. It was good. But we're not here to talk wrestling. So if you're here, we are Orlando food.
Once a month wrestling pod.
Yeah, we probably could do something like that because I feel like we have enough content that we could actually talk about it. But that is not what we're here for. This week I figured we'd talk about something that obviously is a version of WrestleMania. It happens once a year.
Oh yes. The Michelin ceremonies. That's right.
Correct. The Michelin ceremonies.
And this year it was back in Orlando, which is great because I didn't have to go that far. Although the Four Seasons is pretty far from where I live, but not as far as in other cities.
They've done it in Miami before, I believe, and then they've also done it in Tampa.
I missed the year in Miami. I had boots on the ground over there giving me the information and everything. Although now it seems like they're live streaming it, so I won't have to rely on anybody for that kind of stuff anymore. And I'll, whatever if I don't go. But yes, so they did it in Orlando the first year, and then Miami, and then Tampa I went to last year at the Edition Hotel, and then this year it was back here. And now they've added 2 more cities, so who knows? It may end up in the Palm Beaches, Fort Lauderdale area. It could end up somewhere over there.
Yeah. And we talked about it last year on the podcast. So I figured this would be like a yearly thing that we could definitely talk about, especially since we get to highlight some of the Orlando Orlando, the places that have got recognized, which I think is fantastic. And I know that like obviously everyone wants the, we've kind of talked, and I don't know if you want to kind of go give like a brief synopsis of how it kind of works with Michelin, just like a brief version in case they missed they haven't heard about this, or how it gets done. If you want to kind of give an overview of it.
I'm not qualified to give an overview. I can give you an overview of my various overviews, but they're very, very secretive about their processes, about their anonymous inspectors. When I ask questions, I get a lot of the same answers over and over again. When I try to get some details, they are not forthcoming with their processes. I've read and I've been told directly that it is supposed to only be about the food. But then I see different things that seem to indicate otherwise, but I can't honestly say because I don't know. They're very secretive. But they have picked a lot of places that I think certainly deserve recognition. And I'm glad they're here. I think it's cool. I think Michelin helps everybody, not just even the people who end up in the selection, because I do believe that there are people who travel for this. It may be a niche, but I do believe that there are people who travel for it. I do believe that there's like a second niche of people who maybe they don't travel for Michelin, but when they pick a place to go, they look in the Michelin Guide to get ideas about where to go. And they're not going to eat Michelin every night unless they're, that's super their thing. Yeah. So if they come to town for Michelin, what about the other nights that they're here? They got to eat somewhere, and they're spending their money at other local restaurants. So I just think it's good for everybody overall.
No, I absolutely think it's fantastic. And
I think that there's like a rub. There's a Michelin rub that the city has. And it overflows, and you go to a place with a chef's counter. I know that when I go to a place with a chef's counter, I'm talking with the chefs and the different servers, and I say, hey, what else is good? Let me go here. I was somewhere, I mean, this wasn't Michelin, but I remember going to this really cool sort of speakeasy kind of place in New Orleans a few years ago. Started talking to the bartender. She wrote down on a Post-it, take the streetcar, go up here, go to this place. And I went to this other great restaurant that I never would have found. And I am not the only person who does that. So
no, I love asking locals when I go to places. Mm-hmm. Just so you know, I looked it up on the Michelin Guide. When you do like Orlando and surrounding areas, there's about 59 restaurants that they list, because they obviously do the recommendations, the Bib Gourmands, the Michelin Star locations and stuff like that. So there's quite a variety of them, and they obviously every year it kind of updates itself or places get added.
This year there were no losses, there were no demotions, there were none of that stuff. I marvel because supposedly, they get renamed to the selection every year. So the bigger the selection, the more they have to send people here to make sure theoretically that everybody is keeping up to standard.
Yeah,
that's exactly. A lot of people.
It is. That's a lot of eating too. Yeah. How do you want to do it? Do you want me to bring up some recommendations, talk about Bib Gourmands, or do we want to go with like the double star places?
Well, we can get that right out of the way, because the big superstars literally starred of the evening were Sorekara and Omo by Jônt. And these were my foodie picks, interestingly enough, which is fun. Sorekara got 2 stars, and they are only the second restaurant in the state to have 2 stars. The first year, L'Atelier, which I'm probably butchering, Joël Robuchon restaurant in Miami, got 2 stars and has had 2 stars the whole time. And now we have our own 2-starred restaurant. And then Omo by Jônt joined our growing multitude of 1-star restaurants. And the cool thing about Omo by Jônt is that the chef there, Ryan Ratino, he has his DC restaurants, Jônt and Brusca, have 2 and 1 star, respectively. But this year, his other new restaurant called Mas, the Chef's Counter at Mas, which is at the Four Seasons down in Fort Lauderdale, also got a Michelin star. So it was a first for him. Even though he has a bunch of stars, he got 2 stars, 1 each, for 2 different restaurants in the same night. So
He
That's
must have been. He must have been losing. They must have been losing their minds with
he was
the.
pretty chill. I mean, he was very excited, but and everybody was celebrating. But I think that's pretty cool. Like both your restaurants in their first year, get a Michelin star. He definitely cracked the code, obviously.
Yeah,
And he
for
started
sure.
his career here because he went to Le Cordon Bleu and he started his career here many years
That's
ago.
awesome.
Yeah, so it's full circle. It's fun
I
stuff.
love hearing that. I love hearing that. And then the other option is probably more my style. I would say more my style. The Bib Gourmand.
Yes.
Those are obviously places that I usually will kind of go and get to go visit more often than not. Usually that's kind of where I'm kind of headed towards.
Yeah, because Bib Gourmand denotes a place that's reasonable. It's budget friendly, and they may change their prices perhaps like with inflation. So I'm not exactly sure what it is, but it's something like you can get 2 entrees and an app and a dessert for a certain amount of money.
Yeah, they consider it good quality, good value cooking is kind of what the Bib Gourmand is known as. Like the stars, obviously 1 star is a high quality cooking, 2 stars excellent cooking, and then obviously selected restaurants, the recommendation just
And so they
good cooking.
literally say cooking. Are you reading the Michelin?
Yeah, I'm actually reading on their site. The Bib Gourmand is good quality, good value cooking is what they call it.
So again, what they're saying is food. It's the food.
Yes,
It's
food. It's food. Yeah. And we have like 15, I guess there's 15 Bib Gourmands, but they have 4 that were added to our list in Orlando. We have Banh Mi Boys.
Mm-hmm.
We have is it Uni Girl? Is
Uni
that how you Uni Girl? Which both of them are located in the Mills Market.
Correct. And Uni Girl is the same team, which is so cool, at Sorekara. So that you have a 2 Michelin star restaurant and you go there on Sunday morning and they're all making $5 rice balls in their aprons.
And we also have the other one that did it is it Coro?
Yes. What a really delightful restaurant Coro is. The people in Audubon Park are super lucky that they can just, drop over there. It's got that. The food is excellent, beautiful, and elegant, but it's just got this really nice neighborhood chill vibe, open kitchen, good playlist. It feels like a neighborhood restaurant, but it's like an excellent neighborhood restaurant.
Where exactly is it located at? Is that the one that's
Bike, Beans, and Bordeaux?
Yes, that's what I thought. I walked by it a few days ago. Yeah. After I went to Red Light and went to Kelly's to get ice cream. I walked by it and it was packed and looked and smelled delicious. Mm-hmm. Another one that got picked, which I think is fantastic because they obviously were we talked about them before when it came to barbecue and how even Texas has ranked them pretty high. Smokemade Meats.
I love their story because we gave them a foodie award back before they even had a brick and mortar. And this year's winner is the same deal. They're still under a tent, so I love it. They started in a parking lot. First time I ate their food, it was by Whippoorwill. Like sitting in a parking lot, literally. Yeah. And now they are in the Michelin Guide, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, definitely. And if the interesting part about that is that all of these, I would say all 4 of these are pretty recent. They are, I would say, pretty recent. I mean, obviously Smokemade has been here for a while, but and Banh Mi Boy has been there for a bit. But all of them,
which also is in the selection. Not a bib. I think they're just in the general selection, but it's noted at Mills Market. And Kai Kai has been a favorite of mine for years and years. So
yeah, they're a recommendation, and that's a good transition because I know there's some other ones that we've talked about, like was a Walala Asian noodle house. Mm-hmm.
They're new.
They're new. Barkada was another one. Mm-hmm. Nami
in the Lake Nona Wave Hotel, yeah.
Mm-hmm. And then the other one was Gayukatsu Rose?
Yeah, Yu means beef. It's beef.
Where's that one at? I've never had.
Market. That's right next to Ryan's Ocean Room. That is part of the Domu dynasty.
Okay.
So really good fried beef cutlets. That's all they do. And you can sear the slice. It's really good. Unless you're a vegan, then don't go. No bueno for the vegans.
Yeah, no bueno for the vegans. Sorry. That's I will say that I love the fact that we've been kind of, obviously banging on the drum, and so have all the foodies in Orlando about how, hey, we have good good food here, and it's really nice to be able to see and get and see that being showcased. And you know, from all, like, especially with like something like a Michelin, that all these places are getting some love and getting some attention, which hopefully then kind of has the trickle effect for other places to do it. But obviously, you know, just kind of like when you did your Orlando Foodie Award, or we have anything, or anyone talks about anything, everyone always kind of like has like no one's ever happy. So I get that. So I'm kind of
happy, Biggie.
I'm always happy too, because it's food and I want to support small businesses. But I know some people obviously don't. But I am going to put you on the spot. I kind of want to know, and I'm not, we're not pulling any shade to Michelin. Like, Michelin, keep doing what you're doing. But I'm just kind of curious, if I had you and you were part of one of and if I said, hey, would
eat anywhere, and I can't eat everywhere in this town. How are
no, you can't.
Coming here
but I'm just kind of curious, who would you give, if you could give a shout out, or like maybe a little nudge or whatever? Like, can you give me like 3 places you think Michelin should visit or consider for something?
3 places. Hinckley's Fancy Meats.
I love that.
The Foreigner.
Okay.
And I want to pick something like not Red Panda. Have they ever picked a food truck? Red Panda Noodle.
No, I don't think they have picked
Red Panda Noodle.
I'll have to investigate. That's a good one. I like that. That's a good one. I know Red Panda's obviously on a,
there's many others.
Yes, many others, but I do know that it is a favorite of the show. We have mentioned them a few times, and they're definitely good. But those are some good choices. I like that.
Yeah, and there are many others. Thank you though. That was hard. So
no, well, I mean, I'm not excited. I mean, granted, we probably could come up with our own version of it, and it would be kind of funny. I don't know what we would give away if we did. By all means, if you guys think
food, like a Red Panda is easy because it's about the food. You're sitting on, like, you're sitting on a curb.
Yeah. Or you're standing up and eating it with chopsticks, or
eating it or whatever. And and that's, I mean, it was never like that. Smokemade, there's usually tables. I'm trying to think. The Foreigner, obviously, that is fine dining. Gorgeous fine dining. And what was my first one? Oh, and
Hinckley's,
which I've loved forever.
Yes.
And you can either eat at the picnic table or take it home or go upstairs or whatever.
Yeah.
So,
no, or take it home. Yeah, it's delicious. All great choices. I love that.
How about you?
Where have you been anywhere since we're talking about food and we've kind of hit up on some of the Michelin? Has there been any places that you've eaten at recently, or that that's been fun that you kind of want to share, and we can kind of talk about?
What was super fun recently, I mean, this wasn't a restaurant. I went to the Lao. My Easter was Lao New Year. That's what I did for Easter. So I went up to the Buddhist temple in Sanford, and I ate like a ton of, Thai and Lao food, and it was really good. Just homemade sausage on a stick, like delicious. And what else did I eat? This amazing dessert that I can't think of the name. This is when we need to be a radio show. Call in, and I could be like, Palm, what's the name of that dish? Or AJ, what's the name of that dish? And so we got there and we're walking around, and everybody's, shooting us with hoses because it's the water festival and everything. And we're eating all this good food, and it was great. And I was starved when I got there. And by the time I left, I was like, oh my God, please, no more food. And I didn't eat for the rest of the night.
Wait. So hold on. They shot you with hoses? So everyone was getting wet?
The last day of the rich, it's like a tradition at New Year in Cambodia and Thailand and Laos. There's like a water cleansing ritual where you splash each other, you splash with water, and it like washes away the bad luck. So on the last day, everybody the kids really love it. Like, people show up with super soakers and little water guns, and there's people with hoses and different things. And there's like shaving cream fights and stuff. And so when you're walking around, like, there's a chance that somebody might like shoot you with a hose or a water gun. And it's just kind of a hazard of going there on the last day of the festival. But people love it, and it was fun. And AJ was there from Ming's Kitchen playing drums in a band that was playing.
No way.
Yes,
that's awesome.
There, on this like railing, eating sausage and beef larb and sticky rice with my hands in a little bag, listening to the music, and everybody was dancing, and there's beer, and it was fun.
Hey, that sounds like a good time.
It was good times.
I was going to say, that sounds like
they have smaller events up there all the time. Like, not on this scale, but like fewer food trucks and pop-ups. And I'm going to check that out. because there was some good food up there and I liked it.
I love that.
Yeah.
That is fun. I
Yeah,
never I like that. That's a good one. That's a good one. I wanted to bring up, just because I figure maybe we'll talk, I figure we could talk about it so we could figure out, because I do think that I don't know if if you've noticed or saw, but our chicken tender, obviously the article that you wrote based on our conversation that led to us eating chicken tenders is slowly making the rounds of the internet.
Yes,
I've noticed.
it grew little chicken feet and it's walking down to
It's definitely, yeah, they're definitely it's definitely it's going everywhere. I've seen it on Yahoo and a few other spots and websites. So I kind of wanted to figure out, I figure I'd chat and bring up and see if we put it out into the universe, and maybe if our listeners can kind of give us one of what should be the next thing that we maybe do, another list of food or a thing of trying out. Is there something that you've been you haven't had that you've been wanting to have that maybe we should consider looking into? What are your I figure I'd bring it up and chat about it on the podcast.
So you're asking the listeners?
No, I'm asking the listeners, but I figure you and I could have a conversation on it, because there's got to be something that either you or I have not, or at least something that would be entertaining to be able to go and eat. I just need to figure out, like, what is it that we can eat so much of?
We have talked about so many different ones, I
think cheesesteaks. I've heard cheesesteaks as one. I think we've talked. I think one that you've said that we should have, which I'm down for. We just need to figure out, and maybe if you guys could tell us, pies, because you like the pies. You like the little, whatchamacallit, like the little pies that come like almost like what is it, Jolly Beast pie?
Oh, you love fried hand pies?
Yeah, fried hand pies. We should do like a fried hand pie one.
I'm not going to give it away today, but I had something like a fried hand pie today that I will be writing about soon.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, I'm looking forward.
They call it a pie, but it's really a little bit different, but it's very similar. So
okay,
we can talk about that next time.
I'm looking forward to talking about it, because I love a good.
Speaking of pie, we had a local baker who won one of the categories in the National Pie Championships. No, she's from Oviedo for a couple of years. She was taking orders. She also works part-time at Epcot as a pastry chef. She bakes for the festivals and for some of the restaurants there, but she has her own business. And several years ago, she had a storefront for a little while in Oviedo Mall called Mila's Front Porch, which is still the name of her business. Yeah, do you remember Mila's?
Yes, but I totally remember, because my daughter I go to that mall every week, let's just say, and I've passed it numerous times, but it's the mall. Like, it doesn't really there's not much activity there.
She did well, except it was small. It didn't quite have the production that she needed, because she does a lot, and this is important for people listening, she does a lot of allergen-friendly baking. So obviously for that, she does a lot of vegan and gluten-free stuff. And so now she's looking for a larger commercial kitchen. She still takes orders, but where she can keep all of these things separate. And have a lot of room. But she does vegan and gluten-free versions of everything. But the pie that won was a bourbon pecan pie with Malden smoked sea salt.
Yeah.
And it won out of a bunch of pies in the Rebel Pie category, which is supposed to kind of let bakers be a little experimental and put some untraditional twists on traditional recipes, I think was the take.
Yeah.
And she beat everybody else out with that pie.
I love the quote you got from her that says, she's like, there's the sweet and the salty, then there's the smoke, which then kind of hits that umami flavor. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of different notes, and it looks delicious. That's awesome to be able to see that. And it's kind of crazy, because I had seen her the little shop, because it used to be like near the Dillards, I think, in the mall, in the Oviedo Mall.
Yes. So you can still go to Mila's Front Porch.com website, or go to the article and there's a link, but I'm sure you can just Google it. And she takes orders, and she will be taking orders for this award-winning pie, plus all of the other things that you see on the website. And she does it for pickup and for delivery. And so I know that May 2nd and 9th, if you're looking at the article, it looks like you might be looking at it.
I may be looking at it.
Second
I'm
and
actually on her website right now.
will be the dates for pickup and or delivery. And of course, with delivery, there'll be an additional charge if she's bringing you the pie, which is fair, by the way.
Yeah,
So,
exactly.
so if you're curious about this award-winning pie with the buttery crust and the smoked malt and sea salt, you can order it there, or you can try one of her other fun things, or a bunch of them.
And what I like, especially since, like, you know, talking about like the whole Orlando and the culinary aspect of it, she from what I'm reading from the article, from what you wrote in 2011, I guess she went back to school and she went to Valencia, which
That's right.
Valencia has a great
Mhm.
culinary school, culinary courses and classes over in, I want to say, like near the downtown Orlando area. They have those, and I think that's awesome that she basically she had a love for it and she went for it and she went there and did all that. I think that's phenomenal. If you definitely go support Mila's front porch. Check it out.
She could be the next Smokemade, bake it
Yeah.
right now, and then who knows? She could be the next James Beard and or Michelin recognized baker here. Who knows? Pastry chef.
I love it. I love this. I love being able to kind of catch up on some of these articles and some of these things that you've written about, especially what's going on. Because anything food,
you were like that article you read. I'm like, that was like 8 articles ago. I don't remember. I have to.
Yeah, in your world, you don't. I'm like, yeah, but I just saw it last week, and you're like, no, I don't know. I was like, I wrote it like that's like 12 articles ago. I can't remember what I wrote.
It's a dated reference that I always use, but it's Lucy with the Chocolate Factory. That's.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's kind of how I feel with shirts. Like when people are like, "Oh, you should be excited about your new shirt," I'm like, "Oh, whatever." I'm like, I had that one already. They're being printed. I'm now thinking about the next stuff I'm gonna do. I'm not even thinking about this stuff. So, so I totally feel you.
Stuff like when it comes to things like the shirt project or the article, you've been living with it for like 4 days, 2 weeks, however long it takes. 4 months. And by the time anybody else sees it, you're already,
you're done with it.
3 other things.
Yeah, you're done with it, or you're like, I'm ready to move on. I'm like, I just need it to now just sell. I like, and that's a tough one sometimes to kind of deal with. So I totally, I can't imagine that when you're kind of going and you're constantly moving in that direction.
Right.
Another great episode. Thank you so much for everyone for listening to the show. So we'll put it out there. If you're listening, we want to, send us a message or a DM or anything, but we want to know I want to put you guys on the spot. If you can tell Michelin, hey, Michelin, check out these places. Give us 3 places you think that Michelin should consider. And you can go recommendation, you can go star, you can go Bib Gourmand, or you can whatever you want, but give us some places. And then we also want to hear from you about where should we go, what should be our next thing that we should eat and kind of test out or if anything.
Wait, you want us to rank something? Tell us what you want us to rank. We'll rank them best to worst.
Or it's something that Amy Drew's never had before, and that's something that I enjoy doing, making
fast food. I'm down for that. Like, who has the best I mean, I know who I think my best French fries are still, but to be honest with you, I haven't had them in forever. So
I could do French fries. I love a good French fries. I sometimes joke around that I want to have a French fry charcuterie board with a bunch of different sauces and stuff.
But it's so funny, French fries. I mean, there's no wrong French fry because fried potatoes are a universal good, but everybody has like their favorite style fry.
Yes.
And I definitely am that person. I have my favorites too. I have.
Well, I think we're gonna hold off on you not telling what it is, and then we'll have a fry. We may have to have a fry episode.
Okay.
And talk fries.
And then the fun we can also talk about who makes good fries indie, like we did last time, and be like, okay, these are the fast food guys, but here's 3 places whose fries we really love.
Correct. No, I like that. We will have to bring that up. That might be a good one. We have to discuss
many carbs.
Yeah, but we wouldn't eat that many. You'd get like a small of everything. I mean, that's a lot of fries, but still.
Would be. I think that it would be less like making me want to kill myself than the chicken tender.
By the way, every time I have a chicken tender or some form of fried chicken like that,
you've had fried chicken since then.
I have not had chicken tenders, but I will say that we have a night every week. We buy something called bear chicken, which is kind of like, it is like it's like a frozen, it's kind of naked, but it's not, it's kind of breaded, but it's like a healthier version, and it's frozen, and we usually will air fry it. And what we do once a week is we have like these bagged salad kits, and we'll make a salad kit mixed in with the chicken, and so I end up eating some form of chicken every at least once a week or every 10 days.
I
But
think the only I had some Publix rotisserie chicken like a week ago, which is, it's kind of like they are kind of on the scrawny side, but whenever I look at it, I'm like, oh, but it's like, $5 or $6 or whatever it is.
yeah,
And when I see the big one, it might be like $12 and I have to cook it. So I'm just like, whatever.
no, every time we go to Sam's, we end up buying a rotisserie chicken
Those
just because
rotisserie chickens are great. So I got that, and I think I had Baba Yaga, which is a great fried chicken sandwich. Was that after or before the chicken?
I think that was are you talking about, have you had Baba Yaga since the first time you had it? Okay, so then you had you had Baba Yaga before the second round of chicken tenders.
Oh, okay. Well, then, yeah, I had some rotisserie. I think that's the only chicken I've eaten since then.
Oh, no, I definitely know I've eaten more than that, because I think I ended up texting you. I ended up talking with you after we ate all those, and I was at a college tour, and I was like, I'm at Chick-fil-A eating a chicken sandwich.
With that the sauce you love.
With all that sauce.
Oh, so terrible. It's so terrible. Chick-fil-A, don't do that.
Well, guys, thanks for listening. We'll have more for you, but definitely check out these spots. Keep supporting local, and thanks for listening.
Definitely. See ya.
Bye.